A father and son ride deep into the backcountry.
The terrain of the road was pretty rough, lots of rocks sticking out.
Dad!
Suddenly, their world is literally turned upside down.
It is going to either crush me or kill me.
Go to Uncle George's.
Now, a 10-year-old boy must overcome incredible odds to save his dad's life.
I was terrified. I didn't think I could do it.
It's an epic struggle for both father and son as they fight to survive. In the wild, when things go bad, they go bad fast. Without warning, your life can hang by a thread. Adventurer and survivor Craig DeMartino fought back from his own wilderness disaster to reclaim his life. Now Craig meets other courageous outdoorsmen who beat the odds and return from their own fight to survive.
Spending time alone with your son is a treasured experience. I rock climb with my son. It's one of the best things we do. Spending time alone in the backcountry, sharing something we both love. For John Sloot and his 10-year-old son, Cody, a birthday camping trip nearly ends in tragedy and calls upon one son to become his father's only hope.
John Sloot of Castlegar, British Columbia, has loved the great outdoors ever since he can remember.
I've always been an outdoors person. My father's taken me out since I was a little boy, and I do the same now with my 3 sons.
June 15th, 2007 was a very special day.
You go on a fishing trip, Cody?
Yep.
It was Cody Sloot's 10th birthday,
Catch some.
and there was no better way to celebrate it than by going on a backcountry fishing trip. Their destination was Cinnamon Lake.
Me and my dad went fishing a lot.
Get there before nightfall and get set up.
He was teaching me how to fly fish. I was very excited to go on this trip.
Ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
I had been looking forward to it for over a month.
It took an ATV to access this isolated fishing spot.
The quad was loaded up with like frying pans, food, tents, definitely fishing poles.
Along the way, they stopped at Cody's Aunt Louise and Uncle George's cabin, about 10 miles from the lake.
Where are we going? Going up Cinnamon Lake fishing for a couple days.
We had jokingly told them, if we're not back in a couple of days, come looking for us.
We'll do.
It was meant to be a joke.
Hey, Cody, happy birthday.
John wanted to make this wilderness trip really memorable for Cody.
I wanted to take Cody on that particular road because it was less well used, and it had some scenic points along the way.
Maybe we'll see some wildlife while we're going along.
We'd never been that way before. I thought it'd be more interesting than speeding down a gravel road.
The trail eventually narrowed, but that didn't stop them from forging ahead.
The terrain of the road was pretty rough, lots of rocks sticking out.
We'll have to cut this tree so we can get by.
And we had to stop once and use the hatchet to chop down a small tree that was blocking the path. Once that was out of the way, we went a little bit further. It turned and went alongside a steep hill, which narrowed the trail some, but still wide enough for an ATV to cross without any trouble.
Cody, I'm gonna have you get off.
I asked Cody not to get on the ATV until I had crossed. I'm not sure why I had asked him that.
Sometimes we do things and don't know why. Intuition, the hand of God. This was one of those times for John.
I saw no reason why we couldn't be on there together. I'm not really sure why I asked him to walk behind. I just know I'm glad I did.
John inched along the path while Cody watched.
Dad, be careful.
When the trail narrowed, it was right near like a really steep bank, probably about 100 meters down to the bottom. I trusted my dad. I knew that he knew what he was doing.
And as any ATVer knows, you lean uphill if you're going across it. That's what I was doing.
As I was walking, I saw the dirt between the left side of the quad fall away, and the quad started to tip.
Dad!
It was almost like slow motion.
John was thrown off the falling ATV, and both he and the 600-pound machine hurtled down the bank.
It is going to either crush me or kill me.
John Sloot was on a backcountry adventure with his young son, Cody,
Get off.
when suddenly their fishing trip turned into a nightmare.
Dad!
I thought for sure it was going to land on top of me. And then all of a sudden, the noise had stopped.
Cody, I'm gonna have you get off.
John, for whatever reason, had told Cody not to join him on the ATV while he crossed the narrow path. Now Cody was safe, 100 feet up, staring in disbelief.
I just stood there with my mouth open for like 10 or 15 seconds before I realized what was happening.
Craig DeMartino, as a father, has had plenty of heart-to-heart talks with his son. He wanted to hear from Cody how he dealt with this terrible moment.
So when you see your dad and the ATV start flipping and you're watching this thing happen, what is running through your mind? What are you feeling at that point?
I just felt kind of like an empty shell. It kind of felt like a dream where I was looking down at myself. I mean, being 10 years old, my mind wasn't even able to process what was happening.
I can hear Cody up the hill from me.
Dad, are you okay?
Cody, I'm all right.
I told him I was fine. I was thinking that I was extremely lucky that it just bounced right over top of me. But when I tried to sit up, then I really felt the pain in my right calf. It was excruciating. I realized it did land on me, but I was alive.
Dad, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Though John was seriously hurt, his thoughts were for Cody.
The ATV flips, you're on the ground, you know you're hurt, but now you're also thinking, I got Cody with me.
I was pretty concerned for Cody. You know, he's only just a little 10-year-old boy, and I wanted to make it as less traumatic for him as I could. And if that meant me taking on extra pain or extra trauma for myself, I would do it.
Got ourselves quite a mess here, Cody.
He didn't seem to be injured. He seemed to be a little bit sore, but nothing serious.
I'll be all right.
Once he kind of regained his wits, he was telling me mostly that it would be okay.
John and Cody assessed their situation.
The two of us looked uphill and downhill at all the debris. Everything was spread all over.
You want to take that backpack down, Cody? We'll pack up a few things.
Sure.
I told Cody, we got to start gathering some of this stuff up, but only the stuff we really need.
Bacon, a hatchet.
I got as much food as I could, mostly like Pop-Tarts and bacon, and I found our steaks.
The ATV was destroyed, and they were miles from any possible help. Walking out looked like their only option.
My leg was hurting quite bad.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
My calf was swollen, and it was rock hard. I couldn't move my right arm. I couldn't move my fingers, my elbow, my shoulder. It was just hanging there. I was quite sure I wouldn't make it too far.
Cody, I think we're going to have to hike our way out of here.
I had not just myself to get out of there, but I had a boy to get out of there as well.
You scared?
A little.
It'll be all right.
I would deal with the pain.
We'll find our way.
I got to do whatever it takes. If I lose it, I'll lose it. If it gets amputated or becomes so painful that I can't stand to be on it, I would go as far as I could. I got to get out. No one's coming.
John Sloot's ATV has tumbled down a steep bank, leaving him badly injured. Now he has to figure out how he and his 10-year-old son can walk 6 miles out of the wilderness.
Maybe we should say a prayer before we leave to help us through our journey.
I think that'd be a good idea.
All right.
They took a momentary break from prepping and called on a trusted source of strength.
I guess I have to be honest, I was feeling somewhat scared that I wouldn't be able to do what I could for Cody.
Dear Lord, give us the strength and wisdom to get us through this journey.
We said a prayer
Please
that
guide us and protect us.
we'll be able to find a way to get out of here. You know, that we'll be able to be strong. You know, we'll have whatever it takes to get out.
Get us back to our family and friends. Guide us along the way. Amen.
And afterwards, I felt a wave of assurance. It certainly won't be easy.
Right.
But that we would eventually get some help.
There was little choice in the direction they would go.
I knew there was no way I could walk up that hill. I wanted to get to this one intersection where two forestry roads came together, and it was about a 5-kilometer walk.
The hike to the road was extremely rough. We were climbing over and under just a ton of fallen trees and over branches and bushes. Being 10 years old, I still saw my dad as sort of a superhero. I figured he was okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
John was in excruciating pain, but he did his best to keep Cody's spirits up.
I was walking with a pretty good limp, and I couldn't hide it, but I could hide the pain from Cody.
As we were hiking, my dad probably said to me that it would be okay about 200 times.
I'll be all right.
I had to stop every couple hundred feet or so and just take a quick rest.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Normally, it would probably take maybe 45 minutes to walk that 5 kilometers, but it took us 4 hours to walk that.
As darkness approached, they came across a construction site.
There was a trailer there parked off to the side, marked with a sign that said, "Danger,
There's a door.
explosives." The door to it was locked.
They decided this is where they would spend the night.
We had one sleeping bag between the two of us. Cody was exhausted. He was asleep right away. I did not sleep at all. My leg was getting worse and worse as far as pain goes. I just laid there tossing and turning and squirm in pain.
At daybreak, John struggled to gather wood and start a fire so he could cook them some breakfast.
I got a small fire going, and I had a small stick that I wrapped some strips of bacon around. And Cody woke up because he could smell the fire.
Morning, you hungry?
Yeah.
And he saw that I was cooking bacon over the flames with nothing more than a stick. He thought that was pretty cool.
Wanna try?
John knew they must get moving again, but his condition had deteriorated through the night.
The pain was a lot more excruciating than the day before. I didn't think I would make it much further,
You all set there, Cody?
Yeah.
if anywhere at all. You know, that particular road, you might not see anybody on it for a week, maybe even 2 weeks. I wasn't prepared to sit there that long.
At this point, I was very scared, but I figured that, he knew best and that he would keep me safe.
I had a responsibility to take care of my son, and I had to get some help. It was too far to send Cody on his own. Not that he can get lost, but it was just the distance.
Every step for John was now an act of painful desperation.
I was not right thinking the pain would subside. It stayed there. And Cody could see it. He could see it then in my face that it was hurting a lot.
You gotta stop, Cody. Give me a little break. It's gonna be all right. We'll get out of here. You ready to go?
John felt he could withstand hiking along the flat road, but then the route took a steep downhill turn.
The further along we got, the little more steeper the road got. And came to one point where that was it. I just could not go any further. I can't do it.
Now John faced an excruciating decision.
I had started thinking, I might have to send Cody on his own. I really don't want to. Certainly there were bears in the area. We could see bear scat on the road. There's black bears and there's grizzly bears. Some wolves around and there's coyotes. Those are things I did not want them to come across. That and just being alone, still several kilometers away from where we needed to be. And I was thinking about all the possibilities of, well, didn't want to worry about the bad things.
You're gonna have to go.
No, I can't.
I told him that I couldn't do it, but he just looked at me and he said,
You have to go to Uncle George's, to his place.
and he looked me in the eyes and he just told me that I needed to get back to the cabin and that I needed to get help.
And tell him what happened, and come on up and get me.
I'm too scared.
You can do it, Cody. Go to Uncle George's.
I was just losing my mind. I was absolutely terrified. I didn't think I could do it.
John Sloot had made an agonizing decision to send his 10-year-old son Cody ahead,
You're gonna have to go.
No, I can't.
alone in the woods. He knows it's the only hope of survival for both of them.
I'm too scared.
You scared to go?
You can do it, Cody.
I want to give him some reassurance.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my knife. You can do it. Go to Uncle George's.
I think that did make a difference to him. You know, that, okay, I got some security now.
Go get Uncle George.
So off he went.
I was terrified for both him and me. I didn't think I was able to get help.
He had worry more for me than for himself.
When I had to leave my dad on the second day was when I finally started to feel like it was important for me to be there. Because before then I felt pretty useless. I kind of felt like any 10-year-old would, you know, like this is my dad, he's gonna protect me. But at that point, the responsibility had shifted from him protecting me to me protecting him.
Not too far into his solo journey, the wild offered up its first terror.
I kicked a rock into the bushes and then I heard a noise, probably just the rock, but at the time I wasn't really thinking. And that kind of freaked me out, so I took the pocket knife out. I flipped the blade up and was holding it around me. In hindsight, I don't think the pocket knife would have really helped a whole lot against a bear, but being 10 years old, it was a good comfort.
I think he was gone maybe 15 minutes, and I decided I'm just not going to sit here. So even if I went 100 yards, you know, I'll try it. While I was walking, I could see his footprints. Sometimes they were, you know, spaced close together, so I knew he was walking. Other places, I could see him further apart, and I knew he was running. It gave me some peace of mind that, okay, he's running. I don't think I made it another half a kilometer before I had to call it quits again.
After many fearful hours, Cody reached his uncle's cabin.
I ran up to the door and started pounding on it.
Uncle George!
When he finally came to the door, I was just rambling on and on.
Dad's hurt. He's been in an ATV accident.
What?
He got the urgency of
We'll
it.
be back. John's hurt.
We went and started driving towards my dad.
How much further, Cody?
He's right around this corner. There he is.
When the truck stopped,
Dad!
I don't know how to describe it. I just felt some kind of elation.
I was so happy to see my dad was all right. It was just such a tremendous relief.
Where you hurt, John?
I hurt my arm and my leg.
Cody and his uncle helped John into the truck.
So they took me back to his cabin and told me, just don't get out, just sit where you are.
You're gonna be okay, Dad.
And so he got his wife.
You must be starving.
They brought me out a piece of, I think it was cherry pie.
Emergency surgery saved John's foot from amputation. But today he still lives with some limitations.
I still might go for a hike, but it would have to be a real short one and nothing crazy. I still go fishing. I just have to be a lot more selective on where I go.
Minor limitations that don't make a dent in John's love of the outdoors and his appreciation of life, family, and faith.
I just feel so lucky that the ATV did not land a few inches off where it did. Where I might have been crippled, I might have been dead. Prayed to God that everything would be okay, and it is. I'm here. I know I'm being looked out for.
Okay, so you want to go to Dirty Dreams, eh? Yeah.
Cody and I have kind of had a little special bond after all that adventure.
I think the most important lesson that I learned from that experience was just to not give up, because even if you don't think you can do it, human beings are capable of some pretty amazing things.
A year after the accident, the Governor General of Canada recognized Cody's valor, awarding him the Medal of Bravery. This honor recognizes acts of courage in hazardous circumstances and risking one's life to save the life of another.
Cody is a hero to me. I don't know of too many other 10-year-olds that would go out on their own like that under those circumstances to save someone's life.
I definitely don't feel like a hero. I feel like it was just kind of what I had to do, and I feel like anyone put into those circumstances would do the same thing. I believe that God was watching out for us.
Cody did what he had to do, and I look up to him for that. He is a hero to me.
John remained calm even in the midst of great pain. He had to give Cody the courage to strike out on his own and get help. When I returned to climbing after my own accident, sometimes just putting one foot in front of the other was courage. Moving and doing is the victory. That was Cody's victory. He had to face his own fear and hike out alone. His determination to save his father became the inspiration for his own fight to survive.